The Realm. Do you know what the Realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and A Song of Ice and Fire update video. Well, my friends, it looks like we have another new update from our old friend George R. R. Martin over on his Not a Blog website. In this new update, he reveals that he has now seen nearly every episode of House of the Dragon. He also reveals some new information about the Winds of Winter. As a matter of fact, he finally lets us know exactly what he has been writing. If you have been following all of his other updates on his website, then you would know that he doesn't do this very often. Let's go have a look at it now so you can see exactly what he's been up to lately. As you can see, he once again released a lot of information on his website. Now, most of this doesn't have anything to do with Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, or the Winds of Winter. The new updates we are looking for are down a little further. He said, House of the Dragon, I'm glad you asked. I've now seen rough cuts of 9 of the 10 episodes, and I continue to be impressed. I cannot speak to the special effects, many of which are not done yet, but the look of it is great, and the acting, the directing, and the writing are first rate. And yes, for all you book fans, it is my story. Sure, there are some differences from Fire and Blood. We could not show you 3 different versions of every major event and not keep our sanity, but I think Ryan Condal and his writers made good decisions. They even made some improvements. Hearsay, I know, but being the author, I am allowed to say so. For many years, as some of you may recall, I have been saying the TV version of Shae was a deeper, richer, and more nuanced character than the Shae in my novels. In a similar vein, I am vastly impressed by the show's version of King Viserys, who is played by Paddy Considine, who gave the character a tragic majesty that my book Viserys never quite achieved. I want to say kudos to Paddy, Ryan, and his writers, and Miguel and the other directors. There are a lot of great performances in House of the Dragon, or Hot D, as I hear some are calling it. You may never have heard of some of our actors, but I think you will learn to love them, just as you did with the cast of Game of Thrones. Now this sounds like some very great news. Not only has he seen basically every episode, but the author himself is saying everything looks great. And not only the acting and directing, but the writing as well. Now, we never know how things will unfold in the future, but as of right now, George R. R. Martin is on record saying House of the Dragon's first season is his story. That is very exciting. He actually even said something I just said so myself in my last video. Fire and Blood is very different from his other novels in A Song of Ice and Fire, given the fact that there are 3 different versions of nearly every major event during the Dance of the Dragons. Now, because of this, Ryan and the other writers will have to decide on which version they will want to focus on. And according to the author, he said Ryan and House of the Dragon's other writers did make some good decisions, and even in some areas they made some upgrades to what was written in Fire and Blood. I also agree with what he said at the very end of the update. Now, I'll be the first to say I'm not very familiar with a lot of the actors we will see in House of the Dragon. I have only seen a few of them in some other things, but I went into Game of Thrones the same way. There were only a few of the actors from Game of Thrones who I was familiar with already, but I ended up falling in love with nearly every single one of them. Now, if you're a fan of HBO and all of their other shows, then you already know they are the best at finding amazing actors for their stories. As a matter of fact, this is one thing that I was never worried about, because I've always been a fan of their casting and most of their other shows. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I think HBO will learn from some of their mistakes made on Game of Thrones. I also think House of the Dragon showrunners Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik are well aware of what was said about Game of Thrones writers and showrunners David and Dan. I can't imagine they will want to follow in their footsteps by making some of the same mistakes, which is why I think Ryan has made sure George R. R. Martin gave him the green light on every draft or outline he has written for the show. So, unless they're lying to us for some reason, we should expect to see his story in the show. I mean, he did say so himself after all. Now let's see what he said about the Winds of Winter. It says, winds you say? Yes, still working. I finally finished a clutch of Cersei chapters that were giving me the fits. Now I am wrestling with Jaime and Brienne. The work continues, though not as fast as many of you would like. Now this might not seem like much of an update, but this is actually more than he has given us in a very long time. It's not very often he reveals exactly what he has been writing. Now that he says he is done writing all of the Cersei chapters that were giving him fits, hopefully that means the next chapters will be written a lot faster. On the other hand, you never like hearing that he still has several more characters' chapters to go. Now, it is exciting to know that he is working on Jaime and Brienne. I don't know about all of you, but the whole Jaime, Brienne, and Lady Stoneheart storyline is one of the ones that I'm looking forward to reading the most. The fact that he is even revealing he is writing Jaime and Brienne chapters tells me that he hasn't gotten there yet. I don't think he would want us to know which, if any of them, survived that ordeal. As you all know, he doesn't like giving anything away, so that's why I'm assuming he's still leading up to that moment. I'm very interested in seeing what happens when Brienne gets Jaime back to Lady Stoneheart. Now, if this is in fact the case, then that most likely means he still has a lot more writing to do before he gets the Winds of Winter finished. Then again, I am only guessing. The fact of the matter is, no one knows exactly how much he has done except for him. Unfortunately, the only thing we all know for sure is that it's still not here. Let me know what all of you think about these new updates. Now, I know some of you think we will never see the Winds of Winter, but I'm on the other side of that fence, at least for now. Like I have said before, I go back and forth on this myself. Some days I think it will be here soon, then on other days, I think we will never see it at all. Thankfully, we have House of the Dragon for now. That's where my main focus will be for the foreseeable future. Now that we're only about 3 months away from the first episode, you will be seeing a hell of a lot more videos from me. If you have any video ideas regarding House of the Dragon, leave them down below. I'm always open for suggestions. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be entered into the giveaway for the copy of Fire and Blood. The winner of that giveaway will be announced on July 1st.
This is a book of imaginary history, chronicling the Targaryen kings of Westeros. It provides a context and a background for everything that happens in a Song of Ice and Fire. And it's not actually written by me, it's written by Archmaester Gildane of the Citadel of Old Town, who's a very distinguished scholar, but also a somewhat idiosyncratic and crotchety old man who has strong opinions on the historical figures he's writing about. So some of his views may creep into the text. I don't vouch for its authenticity. The Targaryens were people. There were good ones, there were bad ones. Some of them were mad. They were all the product of generations of incest. You get people of extraordinary ability and extraordinary physical beauty, which is a Targaryen hallmark. They had certain physical attributes like purple eyes and silver gold hair that was much prized and was considered, more beautiful than the run of normal men. But you also get madmen, or people who are troubled in one way or another. They were not gods, they were people, but they were people with a very particular heritage.
As always, I want to thank all of you for watching this video. I hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.